welcome back to my channel. So starting right off, I'm going ahead and priming my face with my Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. I concentrate this in my cheeks and around my nose. Now for foundation, I'm using my Makeup Forever Ultra HD in the shade Y315, and I'm just using the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush to blend this out and buff this into the skin. This is pretty much like a domed kabuki brush, and I start off just by distributing the foundation and pushing it into the skin with the brush, and then I'll go in with a beauty blender and just make sure I pick up any excess foundation that may be sitting on the skin to prevent it from looking too cakey. Now for this step, I go in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation stick in this shade Natural Beige, which is 220. And for this, I'm just concentrating this on the spots where I feel like I need more coverage. It's not too thick at all, and it blends out super easily. Now for my cream contour, I'm still going in with another Maybelline product, which is my Maybelline Fit Me concealer, this time in the shade 30. And I'm just blending that out with my beauty blender, and I also go in with the same foundation brush that I use just to really make sure that everything blends together to prevent from any harsh lines being visible. So I know my face is looking a little too tan here, but it's okay, we can fix this. This is good. So now I'm going in with my Maybelline Master Concealer in the shade Light Medium. And then I'll just take my Wet n Wild flat concealer brush and just spread that out underneath my eye. And then I also go along the sides of my nose to really kind of carve out that contour. And then I go in with my beauty blender and then just blend everything out. And now that we've got that blended out, I've kind of tamed down that cream contour. I also place this concealer underneath my contour to kind of carve it out on my chin, on the bridge of my nose, and also on my forehead. And then I'll just go ahead and also blend that out with the same beauty blender. Now once everything is laying smooth on the skin, I'll go in with my Maybelline Loose Setting Powder in the shade 10, and I just place that everywhere that I put that concealer. I really love this powder because it's instantly mattifying and it doesn't have any flashback, and it really makes your skin look flawless. It makes your skin look so smooth and airbrushed. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a good drugstore setting powder. I also place this powder underneath my contour, but I also kind of pounce it around the corners of my mouth. That way we don't have such a harsh line in that area. I'll go ahead and blend out the concealer on my eyelids and set that as well with the same powder. And now that we look like a crazy person, we can go ahead and dust all of that away. And I'm using a large stippling brush by e.l.f. As you can see, my skin is looking great already. And now to warm up the face a little bit, I'm going in with my Benefit Hoola bronzer and a large powder brush. I'm not sure where I got this brush. I believe I got it in like a Christmas collection at some point, but you could really use any kind of brush. I like using a big, fluffier brush as opposed to a smaller, more precise brush because it gives you that flawless airbrushed look instead of a harsh contour line. Now for brows, I'm going to go ahead and be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Chocolate. And I'm using a thin angled brush to fill them in. This brush came in a set as well, along with the spoolie that I use to comb through my brows. And I got this set at Five Below for only $5. These brushes, they have a really good quality to them. And they come in a pack. I got a few blending brushes, this brow brush, and a spoolie. So I would definitely go to your nearest Five Below because they have some really good brushes. One brow, two brows. So jumping right into the eyes, I'm using my Morphe 35B palette and I'm picking up this yellow shade and just concentrating this all over the crease. I'm also using a large blending brush from BH Cosmetics, but you could use any blending brush and they would work perfectly fine for this step. Next, I'm picking up Beam from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm just putting this in my brow bone. I'm using a Real Technique smudge brush, and then I'll go in with a small blending brush by e.l.f. Then I just go over that with my large blending brush just to make sure everything is blending. Now I'm just going back and adding some more yellow just to intensify that color. Next, I'm going in with Roxanne from the Jaclyn Hill palette and just concentrating this a little bit lower in the crease. I want a gradient effect to go from this orangey color up into the yellow. And I'm using another small blending brush that I also got in a set from Five Below. Now just going over that with a Wet n Wild blending brush to make sure everything is blended. I do this step over and over constantly just to make sure that I get that perfect blend. Now for cutting my crease, I'm using the same concealer that we used on the rest of our face, my Maybelline Master Concealer in the shade Light Medium, and I'm just taking my flat concealer brush by Wet n Wild, and I'm really just carving out my eyelid. This is pretty self-explanatory, but just remember to keep it slow. Slow and steady motions will get you through it. It takes a lot of practice, and this is pretty easy to mess up, so as long as you keep a steady pace, you'll be fine. Now I'll go ahead and set that with the same Fit Me powder that we used before to prep my lid for the next shadow. So I'm taking an e.l.f. eyeshadow brush and going back into the Jaclyn Hill palette and picking up Pool Party and just placing this everywhere that we put the concealer to cut our crease. Be very careful that you place this only on the concealer portion because I really want to keep that crisp line of the crease being carved out. Now I'm going back in with Roxanne, placing this just in the outer corner of the eye to make sure that this blends in with Pool Party. Now taking the brush that came with my Modern Renaissance palette, I'm using the blending side and I'm dipping into Jax and placing this right over where we put Roxanne, just to deepen this outer corner to give it more dimension. And I'm also pulling this a little bit above Pool Party to really deepen out the crease. I'll also go in with the more precise side of the brush and again concentrate that Jax color inside of the crease to give it more depth. Now for eyeliner, I'm using my Wet n Wild liquid eyeliner in black, and I'm just going to be drawing out a wing. For this part, I'm just deepening out that outer corner with a pencil brush from Avon. You could use any pencil brush. For this step, I'm using the Revlon Photo Ready Eye Art Gold Glitter, and I'm just using an old eyeliner brush that I had from an old container. It's because the applicator that comes with it is a little too thick, and I need more of a precise line, so I'll just take the eyeliner brush and dab it into the applicator and then create my own arch. So I went ahead and added lashes. I'm using the Ardell Double Up Lashes, and I also added a little accent glitter on the outside of my liner just for an extra pop. Now for the lower lash line, I'm going back into my Morphe 35B palette and picking up that yellow shade with my Wet n Wild large blending brush and just buffing this all over the lower lash line. Now taking a smaller blending brush, dipping back into Roxanne, I am putting this right over that yellow shade underneath the lash line. Then I go in with that same precision brush from the Modern Renaissance palette and dip into the shade Chip and just place that right in between my lashes. Lastly, I go ahead and highlight my inner eye corner using Beam, again from the Jaclyn Hill palette. Now I'm going in with my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk and just placing this in the waterline. This will really help to open up the eyes and make the eyes seem brighter. For mascara, I'm using my Maybelline Colossal Mascara in black, and I'm just coating my top lashes to blend with my falsies and coating my bottom lashes. Next, I go in with my Milani blush in Luminoso. For lips, I am lining them with my Jordana lip liner in Coco Loco. Then I'm just topping that with the L'Oreal Infallible Lip Paint in the shade 342, which is Tongue Tied. For my highlight, I'm using an e.l.f. small tapered brush, and I'm dipping that into the Jaclyn Hill palette, picking up the shade Beam. This shade is beautiful in person. I'm not sure if you can really pick it up on camera, but I absolutely love it. Once I place it with my tapered brush, I'll go back in with another e.l.f. stippling brush just to blend that out. Here, I'm just taking the same tiny blending brush that we used for our brow bone and highlighting the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose. Finally, setting everything with my Makeup Forever setting spray, and that completes today's look. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment letting me know what you think, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I love y'all, God bless, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!